Do you ever feel like all you're trying to do is fit more stuff into your life? Does your experience seem reduced to productivity and trying to optimize every moment of the day? Hey friends, today let's chat about where productivity fits within a well-lived life. I have a hot and cold relationship with productivity. On one hand, I really enjoy efficiency and I think productivity is helpful. But on the other hand, I often feel the need to rebel from all the pressure that my need for productivity can create. So what's the problem here? The idea of enjoying life at its fullest, enjoying every moment, and making the most of our experiences seems to be at odds with productivity and efficiency. Productivity can often be perceived as the opposite of freedom and fun. Maybe it's a matter of personality or how you were brought up. I naturally gravitate towards organized, linear, logical patterns and systems. It gives me a lot of satisfaction to create order out of chaos. So naturally, I am drawn to topics of organization, productivity, and efficiency. But sometimes, and I can even say often, I find myself trapped by my need for constant productivity and optimization. For example, I love to batch my errands to optimize my trips outside of the house. And if you are going to run multiple errands on the same day, it makes sense to think through and maximize your route. But the problem is that I will not take care of a single errand until I can make it part of a bigger plan. So I stress myself out and carry this task in my head and add it to my mental load just because I don't want to take care of it in an inefficient way. Another way that my constant need for optimization can mess me up is that when I find myself with an unexpected amount of free time, if I had not pre-decided in advance what the most important thing would be to do during that time, I could spend half of that time just trying to decide what is the most optimal activity that I should undertake. So you have free time, and instead of making the most of it, you spend all of it thinking about what is the best way that you should spend the free time. So is productivity the enemy? I don't think so. But do we need to be productive all the time? I don't think so either. I know you know this, but it's important to remember that productivity is only a tool. It can never be the end goal. I often think about the fact that life is short, but also life can feel very long, especially when you're stuck living with the consequences of short-term decisions you made a long time ago. It's really fun to live today like there's no tomorrow, but then tomorrow comes. So while we try to enjoy today, it's important to balance that with doing things that are probably less enjoyable, but ensure that we have a good future, whether we think about the future for ourselves or for our children. When we contrast living in the moment with making the most of our longer-term existence, productivity and efficiency become very valuable tools. I think the key here is that it shouldn't be an either or, but it should be more of a this and that. So we want to strike a balance between living fully today and not creating messes that our future self will have to take care of. Most of us have to work to live, and we all have to do the kinds of life maintenance things that are not particularly enjoyable, but are absolutely necessary. What if we could use productivity, efficiency, and optimization tools to streamline those less pleasant parts of our lives to make sure they're taken care of, but also to free up our bandwidth so we can make the fun part of life completely unstructured? We can be productive and efficient with getting our work done and leaving our work at work. We can also be efficient with scheduling our doctor's appointments and running our households and doing all the cleaning and all of the boring, tedious life maintenance stuff. And I think most of us understand that productivity is really helpful with those kinds of things. The problem is that we don't know how to turn off our need for productivity. When we let productivity become our personality or our end goal, we look at everything through the lens of optimization. And when we hit this point, we become unable to rest and enjoy our lives. We develop a compulsory need to always be doing something. So the hardest thing to learn is to restrict our productivity to areas where it is in fact necessary and not let it bleed out into everything we do. So here are 3 things I think we can all do to put productivity back in its place. Number 1 is to develop true hobbies. We have to have activities where productivity is not the end goal. A true hobby is something you do for yourself. It's not competitive, it's not monetized. It doesn't even need to be shared with the world. This is just for you to enjoy yourself. Another thing we could all work on is creating quality time with the people that matter to us. That means staying off your phone, giving them your undivided attention, and not checking the clock every 5 minutes because you're trying to go somewhere else. Being able to be fully present with the people that you love and who love you makes a world of difference. And the third thing I think most of us could benefit from is spending time completely alone and allowing ourselves to be bored. That means no social media, no technology. My preference would be this time outdoors around nature. Let your nervous system settle down and let your mind wander. I think it's easy to start feeling like you're losing yourself if you never spend time with yourself. Overall, I think that productivity is great, just like using spreadsheets is great. But there's a time when those tools are needed. We cannot run our entire life through the lens of a spreadsheet, so we should not try to run our entire life through the lens of productivity and optimization. There has to be room for us to just live. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are about productivity versus living your life to the fullest. So leave a comment below and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll like the one where I talked about our collective productivity addiction. I'll link to it on the screen. For now, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.